Informants and saboteurs. Check the dead drop for signs of life. Tuck in your sleeper agent with their favorite blankie. And ask yourself, is there in fact any intelligence in the intelligence?
Hey, psst. Hey, it's time to talk Tull to me.
Welcome back, I am Omen Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
Together we are Feckless Moans.
And this is Talk Tull to Me.
A clandestine transfer of information in the safe house of prog rock, in which non-official cover Nick and one-way voice link Omen will conduct surveillance on every single track that covert rock band Jethro Tull has ever encoded. We will perform cryptological examinations of the counterintelligence of Crossfire. We will conduct deep cover surveillance on Summer Day Sands. And we will resort to subterfuge in order to get Ray Lamas to divulge the location of the Mouse Police microfilm. We will speak the secret codex of Tull for your ears only, receiving secret instructions from the shadowy figure with many names, the man with the golden flute, Flute Finger, Octafluty, yes, that international man of mystery, Ian Anderson.
You got me on Octafluty.
I thought I might.
I feel like the last 200 plus episodes has been just us trying to decipher the madness that is Jethro Tull.
Yes, we are the sleeper agents, and someday we'll wake up.
Yeah, what's our key phrase? What's our trigger phrase?
It's in one of the later albums.
It's in Zealot Gene. It's last.
It's in Zealot Gene.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Thank goodness we haven't listened to that yet.
I know. Nick, welcome back to Le Pod.
Thank you for that.
Today we have a very special double feature, a double crossing feature.
That we do. We are doing tracks 2 and 9 off of the album Under Wraps, the titular songs Under Wraps 1 and 2, and they are similar enough that I was comfortable to combine them. And if you have a problem with it, Omen's email address is omen. We've got a lot on our plates, so I think we're going to jump right in. How do you feel about that, Omen?
I feel so freaking good about it. Let's have a listen.
Let's do it. Under Wraps numero uno.
Have we there under wraps?
We have been wrapped under wraps. There it is.
We wrapped it, and now we will tap it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that is the common...
For safety.
The commonly understood best practice.
Best practice. Yeah. That's right. So, Nick, this is a song which musically has a lot of elements, no?
It sure does. Yeah. Yeah. It is a very busy song. It's very busy. I don't hate it, but it's very frenetic.
I would call it maximalist.
Okay.
I feel like at any opportunity to put in an effect, they took it.
Yeah.
Twice. They put the effect in, then they put it in another one.
And then it's a different effect every single time. So Ian was basically like, what's that button do? Do it. Do that button now. Now this one. Don't you we already pressed that one. Don't do it now.
Did you ever see the film Amadeus about the life of Mozart and his rival?
It's not Pagliacci. No. That's the clown.
Salieri.
I think I saw bits and pieces of it in college.
There's a great scene where I think it's Mozart composes something and brings it to the Duke or the king, whoever is the patron of both of these composers. And he says, all right, well, what do you think of this new piece? And the patron says, I feel like it has too many notes. And Mozart's like, I assure you, it has exactly the number of notes that it needs.
Too many notes. I don't understand. There are Just as many notes, Majesty, as are required, neither more nor less.
But I sort of feel like that bewigged figure in that film. Like, I feel like Under Wraps has perhaps too many notes.
Too many notes. I think you're right. I think that's a good assessment. Yeah, it's very busy. The synth is fun.
It is, and it goes well with the theme. You know, like there's no moment to feel relaxed. The song kind of keeps you on your toes, keeps you always looking around for what's coming around the corner.
Yeah. But there's something, and it embodies that very well, because there's something about this song. We've had fast Tull songs before.
Oh, sure.
And sure, you get swept away, but there's not a sense of dis-ease there. There's not a sense of like, what's happening? You know, this one, you really get lost in it, and it's difficult to discern what's going on here.
And yet you feel sort of clever for being in it.
Okay.
I feel like it gives me the sensation of like, I'm the main character in this story.
Yeah, and you happen to be in like a watch your back action scene running down an alley, but you're still the main character.
Totally. And even if I don't understand everything that's going on, I still am dressed amazingly. I've got a really cool black fedora.
Right. Okay, I like that.
And a trench coat.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Oh, you're running from the park because you just flashed someone. Is that right?
I'm no longer under wraps.
And I'm also no longer allowed in the park.
I'm also no longer allowed in the park.
So we start with Ian's voice, just under wraps.
Yes.
Under wraps.
With like another like high-pitched voice in the back with some reverb on it as well. You can barely make it out, but it's there.
Under wraps.
It feels to me, and I'm not familiar with these television shows, but it feels to me very like 1970s spy television show. Like what was the show?
Oh.
The Avengers, wasn't it?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That old program with the British spies?
And Thor.
No.
I'm sorry. It was Captain America. You're right.
Oh, Nick.
Yeah.
You know, or even the early James Bond stuff. It's like, and now another episode.
Oh, sure. It's. I mean, we can get back into radio plays with like Green Hornet and stuff.
Yes, there's almost a kind of a callback to that, to the pulp novel-y, serialized action story.
Yeah.
Story of mystery and intrigue.
Yeah, that works very well. I like that a lot. It feels like this is the beginning of our story if we're looking at this album as a whole. You know, Lap of Luxury was
the prelude.
Yeah, like, was it the character is now did the character start the job? Is the character fantasizing? Is this more like Pussy Willow, where you're fantasizing about a new job or something, you know?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It is.
And then, you know, we have that kind of old-timey sounding intro, which is then immediately contrasted with the very modern sound of the synth. PJV comes in with all those arpeggios and all those effects and everything. And it almost feels like, here's a story as old as mankind for the modern age.
I feel like he put the keyboard in a box and then just started throwing bouncy balls in it, and the bouncy balls just randomly hit keys.
Yeah.
That's how you randomly produce things back then. Bouncy balls.
There was no such thing as a randomizer. You had to get 137 bouncy balls.
Yep.
Give them to 130 chimpanzees.
What happened to the 7? The other 7?
The other 7. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to discuss that at this moment, Nick.
Pete is not happy.
It's a need to know situation. You don't have the clearance.
So after or at the same time as the synth, I mean, the drum machine jumps in immediately. Drumatron is right there to be heard, and it's like if the drum machine in Lap of Luxury was set to 12, this one is set to like 9. It's still super there, and it's still super present and in the front, but it's just dialed back just a little bit.
Maybe that's why I feel a little bit more friendly toward the drum machine in this song. There is something
Yeah.
somewhat appropriate about it, I feel like. It's like maybe my ear is just getting used to it the further that we get into this album.
It's possible, yeah. I've always felt in listening to this album that in the mixing they started pulling it back the further we went on, but maybe it's just a matter of becoming like inoculated to it.
In the 80s, they lined up children at a certain age and vaccinated them with a little part of the drum machine.
Yeah.
Not the full thing. Not enough to, make them become drummers.
Yeah.
Just enough to make them become not drummers.
Yeah. That's the most important thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's why England had to import all their drummers after 1993.
It's a fact, yeah. Yeah, go find a British drummer.
It's a fact. Nick, the flute in this is extremely crisp.
Very much so. It's crisp, it's there, it sticks out in the cacophony of the two electronic sounds. It fits well with the electronic sound, like they pair very well, but it's still discernible.
Yeah, and it's actually the only instrument that is not being played with the addition of electricity in some way. I mean,
Yeah.
the bass is an electric bass, it's an electric guitar. Obviously, those are physical instruments that are being played, but the flute is the only completely human-powered instrument.
Am I wrong in hearing...
Probably. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Let's be safe and assume so.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in hearing mandolin in here sometimes?
Ooh.
Like, very barely. I couldn't tell you where it is. But every now and then, there's just like a little tinkle of mandolin. I could be wrong. Could be synthesizer. Who the hell knows?
I wouldn't say that you're wrong, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I agree with you.
That I'm right.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I didn't hear any mandolin, but I'll have to
Okay.
go back and take a listen.
Sure. Yeah, it's acoustic guitar. It's not mandolin.
Yeah, I agree. Good work, Sleuth.
There it is. So yeah, there's... Just let's throw some acoustic in this pot of spaghetti and see what happens.
The funny thing is, Martin isn't... The first couple of minutes of the song, I was like, where's Martin?
Yeah.
Excuse me, where is Martin Barr? But then, when we get to the bridge, and especially when we get to the outro, Martin comes in with really playing a supplemental melody. And it feels like one of those themes that you would hear over a James Bond scene. It has that kind of
Sure.
quality of like, here's the lone kind of mystery theme of the hero.
Yeah, particularly in the kind of the chorus area, I don't know if it starts out sounding like electric guitar, but it kind of ends sounding like synth, so I'm not sure what it is.
Under wraps, I've got you under wraps, under wraps. I've got you under wraps,
But he does come in with that spy sound.
I think there's a lot of layering going on in this song.
Yeah.
Ooh, can we talk about the breath moment?
Yes, it's about 2:45. Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of?
I mean, that answer could be anything.
Well, I'm glad that you guessed She-Wolf by Shakira. There's a she-wolf in the closet. Let her out so she can breathe.
Don't keep your animals in closets, people. I think that's the moral of the story, right?
Ow! It's a great song.
I believe it.
It's in 4/4 time.
Well, I want to talk about the breath, though. I think it works perfectly with that image of our hero, the spy, like frantically running down an alley.
Yes,
He's-
a little parkour action.
Stuff is out of control, and he's got to get away.
Yeah, sure. Or even just the adrenaline of like, ooh, I almost got caught.
Oh, sure. Oh, also, yeah. He turns the corner, and he's finally alone, and he can kind of unclench.
Yes. And then he sees Shakira.
And then he sees Shakira singing that in an alley for some reason.
It's in 4/4 time.
Uh-huh.
a fairly regular time signature. Again, I wonder if the drum machine was a sticking point when it came to more complex time signatures. I really don't know. I really don't know. It'll be interesting to listen to the rest of the album. This is, Nick.
Holman.
This is one of the most excited times for me that I have felt in this whole process.
For knowing so little about this album and kind of theorizing of what we're going to hear next, like where this is going to go?
Yes, I feel like we're heading into the unknown.
It is pretty exciting.
Armed only with a nuclear-powered cigarette case and a shoe radio, we're going into the darkness.
How big is the cigarette case?
Massive.
To be nuclear-powered.
Yeah.
It
has to
around.
Be driven around in a Cadillac.
Yeah. Cigarette, ma'am. I would light it, but my hair is falling out. I'm sorry.
From the radiation.
So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's a good joke.
So another fun note about the synth, the ever-present synth in here.
Please.
At one point, one of the sounds that I really dig, my favorite sound that we've got from the synth in this, is that marimba-esque, like, ticka-ticka-ticka-ticka-ticka-ticka-ticka-ticka.
Yes.
So fun.
It's really fun.
Wrapped in the warmth of you, wrapped up in your smile.
It is very enjoyable, and having that part, that's on the softer side for the synth sounds, not in terms of volume per se, but just it's kind of a smooth sound, that soft marimba, as opposed to like the jagged slashes from the other pieces. So it's kind of a nice respite, and it really, because it's so soft, it really pulls the ear and kind of alleviates the harshness that you jump back into.
It totally does, yeah. It provides a sense of intrigue and mystery because you really have to listen for it. You're like, what is it saying? What is that message that's coming through the static?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's kind of this secret code.
Totally. My favorite sound in this song is, I'm not sure if it comes from the synthesizer or if it comes from the drum machine, but it's those 4 automated claps.
You're a sucker for claps.
I love them. I love them in Tull.
Yes, yeah. It's Clapatron. It's the little bastard son of the drum machine.
Yeah.
Drumatron.
Yeah, Clapatron, along with Gonorrheatron. Syphilatron.
Syphatron. Gonatron and Syphatron.
Nick, anything else to say about the music?
I'm glad they did not launch the adult version of Transformers. I'll tell you that. I'm just very thrilled.
Yikes.
I have nothing more about the music, Omen. Do you?
I haven't.
All right. Then I'd say we're about halfway there.
Oi, you old rapscallion!
What is it?
It's the half of the show!
Oh, the first to the second half.
The middle half.
Oh, all right.
So, Nick,
Yes.
we don't have much to talk about in this second half, but that's never stopped us before. I would like to bring into the mix someone's opinion about this album, and I think it's somebody that you will be interested to hear from.
Is it someone that we would appreciate their opinion on, or is it like Stephen Peacock?
It is not Stephen Peacock.
Okay.
It is Mr. Ian Anderson.
I've heard of him.
Reading from the Codex Silent Singing,
Mm-hmm.
Ian writes in the blurb, which introduces Under Wraps, after the experimental use of the early 80s state-of-the-art synths, sequencers, and samplers on the Anderson solo album, why not take it a stage further? In came Martin and David Pegg to join a programmable drum machine, since we were without a drummer. My studio lacked a drum booth or big enough space to set up a full live band, so boom-tit, de-boom-boom-tit it had to be. But therein lay both the charm and the rejection by many fans who felt that this was a step too far. I programmed all the often complex drum parts during rehearsals, and we played real instruments and sang live to the result. Only the drums were electronic, apart from some of the keyboard sounds, but then we had been using synths as early as 1972. Being primarily intended as a CD release, there were 15 songs to squeeze in, a major workload for a relatively short period. As the title suggests, There are secret worlds behind the songs, or at least most of them. Cold War paranoia, Russian subs, double agents, science and engineering, plus a little financial greed and duplicity. I think I was at the peak of my vocal range and ability for this record before the rigors of touring took their toll. Martin's guitar work is superb and very fitting the nature of the material. Peter Vitesse was learning all the time, eyeing the producer's chair and planning a future career, less as a performing muso than a producer to the stars.
Very interesting that the excuse or the explanation to it is they didn't have a drummer. Who knows where Jerry went?
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. It's another spy mystery. And they didn't have the space for a drummer. I guess everything was crammed into the old Maison Rouge.
So, yeah, I don't know that we actually have talked about this before, but this album was recorded at Ian's home. And I'm not sure if that is the same thing as the Maison Rouge mobile studio, because previous albums that were recorded at the Maison Rouge mobile studio certainly had a drummer.
Right.
So is this a more in-home studio than that was?
Yes.
Was there some kind of transformation of the studio?
I believe Maison Rouge was his home studio. The Maison Rouge mobile was actually mobile. I don't know. They had a bus, or I don't know what the setup was. But we have seen them recording in both. And I believe, as this is right on the tail of Walk Into Light, sorry for the tail, I believe, I mean, it's the exact same setup, aside from the fact that they brought in
right
Peggy and Martin there.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And interesting that Ian cites the charm that the electric drum machine provided. And the more I listen to this album, the more I'm hearing the charm.
I agree. Before we started this long adventure, I did not like A or Under Wraps at all. And they are both very much grown on me right here. Right on the left shoulder.
They are grown on you.
It's gross.
Your skin is one of the most fertile paradises for Under Wraps and A.
It's fecund.
Well, yeah. No light, high humidity.
Yeah.
Nick, anything else to say in this here break?
No, that's good for me. I think that is a great insight. Of course, in the following weeks, we will get into more quotes and details about the album itself. But I think now we can jump back into Under Wraps number 1.
Well then, tits to your uncle. See you on the corn cob.
Tits to your uncle?
You heard what I said.
I did. That's why I questioned it. Okay, Omen. So, we know that this album is a spy album.
It is a spy album.
Right? Everything is under the guise of spy fiction. However, I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of these songs as multi-layered, and you could see it as straight up spy fiction, but you could also interpret it another way that would be perhaps a little more realistic for people in their everyday lives.
Perhaps these songs are double agents, the true intentions of which are hard to fathom.
I think that is right. I like that. I think that is a good analogy, and it fits perfectly.
That's why we have put thumb screws on each of these songs, and we're going to keep twisting till we get some answers.
Until they tell us what the hell they're about. So this song, on the surface, is a spy, right? I mean, it's a spy who's fallen in love, and he's got to keep it on the down low. Is it all an error that he is pretending to be in love, so he's leading the other agent on, and he's trying to get information? Is it a honeypot? You know, what is going on here?
Well, what does it mean? What does the phrase under wraps mean?
To be in secrecy, right? Like to be secreted?
Yeah, to keep something a secret.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're going to keep that under wraps until the big reveal.
Right.
It is wrapped up in the paper of
a fake identity.
For instance, yeah, it could be. Yeah, a mission could be under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it reminds me of sailing under sealed orders. Sailing under sealed orders. Okay, if you have a ship and somebody hires you to go do something, they might say, all right, you're going to go to this port and you're going to pick up this many barrels of this and you're going to come back and here's what I'm going to pay you.
Okay.
Sailing under sealed orders is when they say, I want to hire you, but I'm not going to tell you what for. So here's the piece of paper that says where to go. Once you're there, you then open the next packet of papers.
It's like an escape room.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And if you get caught on the way, you have to destroy that packet that you haven't opened. That way, there's no way that even you, who's doing the mission, will know what the mission was if you're compromised.
Now, what time frame are we talking of sailing? Like, is this
what time frame aren't we talking?
Is this currently happening?
I was thinking, well, I don't know. It could be. I was thinking about Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where Captain Smollett says something to the effect of, I'm a bit pissed off because the nature of this mission is under sealed orders, and yet everyone in the crew seems to know more about it than I do.
That understandably pissed.
Understandably Smollett.
That's the.
You got it?
No.
I believe in you. Pull it out? Okay, we'll leave it there. I love the point that you brought up of the romance of this song.
Yeah. I can't quite, and maybe I don't need to put my finger on it, but I can't quite decide at what level the relationship is or the affection is. And I think that works perfectly because if you're watching a spy movie, you never quite know either.
That's right. I'm thinking about all the James Bond movies, all of the stories about spies, and there's always the romance, and you never know what everyone's intentions are.
Did James love Pussy Galore? We'll never know.
What's not to love?
What's not to love?
But right, that's the question. Who's tricking whom? Who's getting information out of whom? Who's using whom for what? Who's using what for whom? Who's using whom to what ends? What ends of whom is using by who'd? Who done it? Who's doing it? Who's doing me?
Also a mystery.
Also, not a very long one.
But also, on top of all of that, so that's our overarching umbrella of spy, right?
Yes. Sexy spy.
But also, could this not just be a guy having an affair? Or could this not just be like a relationship that's so early you don't want to tell your friends or family about it because you don't know where it's going to go? So you kind of just omit facts and you kind of disappear for an evening, can that fit here too?
I think it can. And I think that the key is the word wrapped. Wrap. To be under wraps is to be in secrecy, as we discussed. To be wrapped is to be caught, to have your entire attention caught by something. Yeah. He's also using wrapped in the folds of your attention. Wrapped inside your smile, wrapped in the warmth of you.
Wrapped in the warmth of you, wrapped up in your smile, wrapped in the folds of your attention.
He is trapped, wrapped.
Yeah.
You can't spell wrapped without trapped.
Are you sure?
You can't.
Do you want a notepad?
You also need a T, and you need to get rid of the W.
You straighten out the W and kick it to the side.
It's called recycling. But I do feel like it's this sense of, enjoying the feeling of having gotten in too deep to whatever it is, whether it's a double-crossing spy situation, whether it's a flirtation that's gone too far, whether it exists only in the mind of the singer. Mm-hmm. We have the wrapped up by your eyes, wrapped in the folds of your attention, contrasted with wrapped in daydreams of you.
Wrapped in daydreams of you, wrapped up by your eyes.
Wear an air of casual indifference, careful how you go about your usual business.
Wear an air of casual indifference, careful how you go about your usual business.
Is this a story about two individuals who have very limited contact, and one of them has blown that up into this whole fantasy spy story.
Sure. I think the fodder is there, and there are enough loose threads that any of them are viable, really, and by extension, by going back to our source material, the source of the material, that is Ian Anderson, who has said, make of it what you will. Like, I mean, it all kind of makes sense, so it all works.
Well, and he's pointed out that the context of this album is the Cold War and, all the political machinations that were happening at the time. But he also said there are secret worlds behind the songs.
Yeah.
A secret world could be anything.
Exactly.
A secret world can be a world that exists only in our imagination. And I think that this theory that I feel like you introduced me to, for which I'm grateful, your beneficence has not gone undetected.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
My beneficence detector went off several minutes ago. I think this gets to the question, why do we like spy novels? Why do we like spy stories? Why do we like these kind of mystery stories?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think it's because we all love imagining ourselves as this suave, mysterious person with ulterior motives and a whole life that we're keeping secret.
Yeah, it's definitely vicarious. The danger, the sexiness, things that most people can literally only fantasize about.
Right.
When Bob in accounting is waiting for his 40 reams of paper to print, he's got to fantasize about something.
That's right. So there is a connection here with Pussy Willow, I think. And this is maybe a little bit more fully developed, less desperate than
Yes.
Pussy Willow.
Oh, yeah.
More focused.
Yeah, there is certainly much more content here as opposed to just Delilah the secretary's horned up,
I think that the reason why the world of spies is such an interesting thing to fantasize about is because the reality of it is likely incredibly dull. I think that a lot of spy work is doing a very, very boring thing for lots and lots of days in a row, and then having 10 seconds of sheer panic while you transfer a file.
Right. You sit and you watch in a car for 3 weeks straight, and then you go do something. The same can be said for the romanticization of, like, police work,
Or astronauts. I mean, really anything.
Well, astronauts get to eat ice cream, so, I mean, at least there's that.
Other people get to eat ice cream, too. Yes, but in space, Omen.
I've never seen a spy thriller where they eat ice cream, Omen. I mean,
in space, no one can hear you eat ice cream.
No one can hear your brain freeze.
Did you just say that you've never heard of a spy movie set in space?
No, eating ice cream. A spy eating ice cream.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was all prepared to tell you about the last scene of Moonraker.
I know you were.
But there's no ice cream there.
There's no ice cream in space.
There's no ice cream in space. That's the rule.
We can't agree on anything in this world, but every country has agreed no ice cream.
No ice cream in space. Thanks, Buzz.
Not until you eat your vegetables in space, I think.
In space. Anything that we want to pull out of this song, I feel like for as mysterious as it is, it's fairly straightforward in a way.
Right. I think we hit enough of the overarching themes and where those threads could lead that we don't necessarily need to get into too many specifics. I think it all fits in whatever direction you lead down. I really like the seasonal thing at the very end. Wrapped in your summer night, wrapped in your autumn leaves, wrapped in the winter of your sleeping.
Wrapped in your summer night, wrapped in your autumn leaves, wrapped in the winter of your sleeping.
Why wouldn't he do spring? Like, why would he leave spring off?
Oh, it didn't fit.
It didn't fit.
Couldn't think of a metaphor.
Yeah.
Wrapped in the mud of your... Oh. God, if only Ian had written 2 different versions of this song and put both of them on this album.
Guess what?
What?
We'll be hearing that right now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even want to make a joke.
I don't think. No, I don't think we should.
That is so frickin' pretty. That song really touched my heart.
How gorgeous. I can listen to that song over and over.
So really, really fascinating just contrasting the two. This version, this number 2 version is all acoustic.
Yeah. It's half as long. It's only 2 minutes as opposed to 4.
We have Ian playing the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
I think we have Martin playing the acoustic guitar in a lead guitar style, but I'm pretty sure it's an acoustic guitar.
Oh, is there another one in there?
There is, yeah.
Okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure.
Because there's Mando in there, too.
Wrapped in the warmth of you, wrapped up in your smile.
Maybe that's what I'm hearing, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure whatever instrument it is, it's Martin playing that counterpoint.
Yeah, I think that's the Mando, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we know Martin plays.
We know that. There's also tambourine.
Wrapped in the folds of your attention.
Tambo in there. I wonder if that was the drum machine or PJV.
I don't know, but I think it's not the drum machine.
Probably not, no.
Sounds like it has a human touch to it.
Yeah, it's too irregular. It's too accented to be, I think, a drum machine.
The also major shift with this song is that it's played, whereas the original number 1 version is played in a minor key, this is major. Which gives it that feeling of hopefulness. There's a couple of dark chords in there.
Yeah.
But it feels much more like a love song than a spy novel. And it's fascinating how the same content can work so well as one or the other. I mean, this really is like, this is the romance here.
Yeah. And before we go any further, don't forget that stand-up bass.
Wrapped up in your smile.
His bass accents of boom, kind of just
gorgeous.
super irregular, out of nowhere. They work so well. This song is stunning.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? The contrast between these two songs.
What could that be?
It reminds me of Minstrel in the Gallery, where you have the acoustic start and then it goes electric. This is a little bit the opposite of that, where it's like, we have this super digital, super synthy song, and then we're going to reprise it 100% acoustic later on. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Even though it is clearly in the shadow of its loud, acne-ridden, obnoxious older brother that is the rest of the album, it still shines as this hidden jewel. And I'm going to have to re-listen to the album as a whole to hear this in its designated spot.
Yeah, because there are 8 songs that separate it.
Yeah. To really hear where it's strategically placed and why, you know. But it's so lovely.
You fine listener, whether you are driving in your car fantasizing about being a mysterious spy, or whether you are scraping paint off of your back porch, remind us when we get to Heat and Paparazzi, the song twixt which Under Wraps 2 sits.
Correct.
Remind yourself and remind us, because we will forget.
And I just want to, Ian, I know you're listening. Can you remake this entire album in acoustic, please?
Yes, please. That'd be wonderful. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
I know we've asked a lot of you, but if you could kind of move that one up to the top of the list, it'd be great.
Nick, jumping over to the lyrics, you know, it's so funny that with a different setting, different lyrics stand out to me.
Okay.
You know what I caught this time through listening, which I didn't catch the first time? It's a rhetorical question. I'm happy to just tell you.
Okay, great. That'd be great.
The phrase, "Bless my boots upon my soul."
Yeah.
Secrecy, it is my failing.
Bless my boots upon my soul. Secrecy, it is my failing.
Ooh, secrecy is my failing. What is... Oh, there's a lot to dissect there.
I get 2 potential meanings for that.
Potential me up.
Potential 1, secrecy is my failing, that I am failing because I can't keep a secret.
Yes,
Or I can't be fulfilled. I am failing in life because I am sworn to secrecy.
Oh yeah, I like that too. I have, I think, a B1, a vitamin B1 interpretation.
Inject me, please.
I'll tell you a story about that later.
My mood needs it. Thank you.
I wonder if, in the context, if we take it away from the spy context in this setting, which is more strictly romantic.
Sure.
This protagonist's tendency towards secrecy is making them fail at getting what they want.
Which is the relationship?
If we have this whole the masquerade, I'm masking my feelings, I'm wrapped up in the warmth of you, wrapped up in your smile, but I'm keeping this air of casual indifference, going about my usual business. But at the same time, daydreaming of you, I'm keeping my feelings so secret because that's what I'm programmed to do.
So it's a man from the 1980s is what you're saying.
It's... I guess, yeah. It could be.
Is this song about my dad, Omen? Is that what this is?
Is this... Do you know that song, My Dad Never Told Me He Loved Me by Jethro Tull? I love that song.
I don't think I've heard that one. That must be a bonus track somewhere.
It's a bonus track on the album Mommy Issues.
Oh my God. Okay. So we're gonna get into an insight. I think I must have told you this before.
10,000 songs about my mother. Go ahead.
We're gonna get into some serious insight into Nick McGill here, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
Sit down,
Put on your
buckle up,
listening pants.
have some cocoa. This is happening. So when I was 15, 17, something like that.
Yeah, the age of peak sexual prowess. I'm sorry I said that. We can cut that out.
I don't know when that is. It hasn't happened yet.
Still going up.
My dad's changing his oil in his truck, and I'm sitting out there with him. We're just sitting with him, and he's got the radio on, and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young's "Love the One You're With" comes on.
Uh-huh. If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with.
And there have been times where I'm in the truck listening to music, and he'll ask me about the song and what do I think that means. But this one in particular was, how do you feel about that? If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Yeah, Omen's making the face that my soul is making right now. Yeah.
Yikes, your dad asked you that?
Was my dad asking me permission to tell me about the affair he was having? I don't know. I don't know the time frame. I don't know where it falls in things. But that happened, and that lives rent-free in my heart to this day.
That moment was the closest that your father ever got to therapy.
Yes. Talking to his 15-year-old son. Yes.
While changing his oil.
Or 17-year-old son or whatever, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woof.
Don't know what to say about that.
I don't know why I told you that. I'm not sure if I'll leave this in or not.
You should. You should leave it.
I probably will. You're welcome, everybody.
Well, wow.
Sorry about that. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer.
No, never apologize for revealing the deep secrets of your childhood. I do it all the time. It's about time someone else did it.
That's true. If anyone else wants to write in and reveal a deep secret of your childhood, we'll read it on air.
This is a safe space.
You don't have to tell us your name or anything, but we'll definitely read it. If we get enough, we'll start a whole new podcast.
Yeah.
Do it.
Secrets of My Childhood by the Feckless Momes.
Tell your friends.
Or just unwrapping the under. Underpants! I've got you, underpants!
That's the song for when you open that present at Christmas that you just know it's either socks or underwear and you have to get it over with. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You open the small ones first.
And I wear an air of casual indifference.
I wear Calvin Klein's Casual Indifference.
Indifference by Calvin Klein.
I've got you under wraps, under wraps. Oh.
In answer to your question, no, I have no idea what we're listening to next week, but I'm excited to find out. Let me break open this capsule that I've been holding behind my teeth for 7 weeks. Oh no!
Was that the arsenic capsule or the European legacy capsule?
Oh, European. It was a little bit of peppermint oil.
Oh, a little spicy, but you'll get through it. It's fine. It's not that bad.
European Legacy.
European Legacy, track number 3 off of 1984's Under Wraps.
Very excited to talk about this. Until next week, bless my boots. And if you can't bless my boots, you may want to bless your own feet with a pair of Talk Tull to Me branded socks. Is that something that you can get on TeePublica? I'm not sure. Why don't you go and find out?
It's TeePublic. It's just TeePublic. And the link is in our show notes. You will be wrapped up in the warmth of us when you subscribe to our Patreon. It's only $5 a month, gets you 2 additional podcasts, Outtake Tull to Me and Feckless, a grab bag of content, and you get access to our Discord to chat with other warmly wrapped Tull Skulls.
You don't have to wear an air of casual indifference when it comes to this podcast. You can shout your feelings from the rooftop of the internet by giving us a positive review and a 5-star rating wherever you like. Write into the U.S. government and tell them how much you like Talk Tull to Me. Or just put it on Spotify.
That'd be great. Or Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Until next week, I am the great unveiling Nick McGill.
I am going slow, Omen Thomas Sade.
We are not careful how we go about our usual business. We are the Feckless Momes.
And upon my soul, this is Talk Tull to Me.
Oh, Duke Reginald, it's an honor. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been great. I'm gonna go help myself to some punch, if you don't mind.
Excuse me, do you mind if I grab a quick word with you? Here, step into this broom closet.
Yes, complete stranger. What can I do for you?
Agent Musclefellow, you've got to stop making eyes across the dance floor to me.
Secret Agent Sexy Lady, if you don't stop showing me your garter, I will rip this mask off and tackle you. I can't handle it. You know I'm a sucker for garters.
You don't talk about tackling me when my breasts are full of secrets.
They are... You're right, my God, they're so full of secrets.
Now shut up and kiss the microfilm into my mouth.
Oh, you delivered, hands-free.
This microfilm tastes like another woman.
How do you think I got it in the first place, Secret Agent? Oh!
I can't believe you've been kissing other agents. It's that Russian woman, isn't it?
Well, of course, she's our mark. She's the one who leaked it. You know it didn't mean anything, Secret Agent Sexy Lady. You know it doesn't mean anything. It was just a handoff. It was a delivery. It didn't mean anything.
I don't think there are any hands involved.
Too many hands in this broom closet, or maybe not enough hands.
If you don't stop kissing foreign agents who may be planting microchips in your tongue, I'm going to go straight to the Kremlin and have them revoke your diplomatic immunity with my underwear.
You would not go so far as to blow this mission. We have gotten this far, and last I checked, you weren't wearing underwear.
I'm revoking your need-to-know basis from what's under this miniskirt. When we get back to the safe house, we're going to have a long talk after we're decontaminated.
I think we may have to talk this over. I'm a little concerned that we are jeopardizing the mission, but frankly, I'm not sure we can even get back to the safe house at this point, Secret Agent Sexy Lady. Do you know the key word, the key phrase to get in?
As sure as your real name is Frederick Bulgeson, I know that the secret phrase that is the key to this entire mission is Talk Tull to Me is a proud member of the Feckless Momes audio network.
Oh, talk secrets to me.
Aha, I'm really Secret Agent Mustanchevich.
Not Mustanchevich!
Your face is burnt by Russian KGB. We've been following you ever since Benefit.
But you You tasted just like Secret Agent Sexy Lady. I don't know what to... Oh!
That was a test, Bulgeson! It really is me, Agent Sexy Lady.
Oh, thank God.
Let's go through this trapdoor to the sexy safe house.